Hello, everyone. This is Mel Rapozo, Kauai County Council Chair. With me is Jan TenBruggencate, member of our Kauai Charter Review Commission. And, we've been getting a lot of questions about the charter questions that's on the ballot for this general election. So I've asked Jan to join me today to discuss the 5 amendments and give you guys a little bit in-depth information and the background of each of these amendments. So let's just go get started, Jan. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Well, thank you. And, as I tell folks when they ask me about this, the Charter Amendments, the Charter Commission's duty is to only recommend items that we recommend, that we think will actually make county function better. So it's not just we throw something out there to let people vote on it. These are recommendations. And in this case, all of them were unanimous recommendations of the Charter Commission.
Yeah, so obviously our charter is like our constitution, and anything that gets changed or added to the charter requires a vote at the general election, and it needs to be, the majority of voters need to vote yes. So it's very important. So I think it's a great, I want to thank Huike for allowing us the platform to share this with you. So there's 5 amendments, proposed amendments, and the first one is relating to the Police Commission investigations. And what the ballot question will be, it'll be, shall the Police Commission's 90-day window for reporting written investigation results start when the Commission receives the investigation report? The County Charter currently gives the Police Commission 90 days to receive, consider, and investigate police conduct cases. This charter amendment would separate the investigation time and the reporting time, giving the Police Commission adequate time to conduct thorough investigations when members of the public bring charges against members of the police department. So, Mr. TenBruggencate?
Well, Mel, you're familiar with some of these issues as a veteran of the police force, and in this situation, there are situations in which when a member of the public brings a charge against the police department handles those charges, investigates them in-house, and then turns them over to the Police Commission. But occasionally they have to hire an outside investigator, and when that's the case, the 90-day window is often not enough. So what we're recommending here is that the investigation gets done, and at the moment the investigation is done and reported to the Police Commission, the Commission then has 90 days to make a decision. It seems fairly simple. In our view, it was recommended to us by the Police Commission, and in our view, this, among other things, it takes away the possibility that somebody would sort of delay action on things to get beyond the 90-day window so that you wouldn't be able to get a commission decision. But the upshot is it puts a clear deadline in place, but also allows time for investigation.
Yeah, and I'll just add that the state procurement laws govern how we procure investigators in the event that our police commission needs to go outside to hire an outside investigator for conflict of interest reasons or whatever. That procurement process could take up a lot of that 90-day period. So, awesome. The second item is relating to the Cost Control Commission report. And the ballot question reads, shall the Cost Control Commission be authorized to recommend increased costs if they are expected to generate future cost savings or efficiencies? Currently, they are only authorized to recommend costs or cuts in our budget, program cuts, any type of budget cuts to make the county more efficient. This will give them a little more leeway in recommendations, Mr. TenBruggencate.
Yeah, and the way I describe this is if you wanted to, if you had a car that wasn't running well, you had to pay some money to get it tuned. That's an upfront cost, but long term it's going to result in reduced costs in the operation and fuel and so on for that car. Same thing here. If the Cost Control Commission is able to identify a short-term cost item that will long-term save money for the taxpayers, that seems like a good thing, and it seemed like a rational, again, this was recommended by to us by the Cost Control Commission, and the Charter Review Commission agreed that seemed like a good idea, and we think that will make things run a little better.
The end goal is to make a more efficient government. And just also any recommendation by the Cost Control Commission would still require the approval of the council and the mayor. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that explanation. The third question, the third amendment proposal is relating to Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Fund. And the ballot question will read, shall up to 5% of the county's open space fund be available for the maintenance of lands, property entitlements, or improvements that were paid for by the fund? Currently, our Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Fund receives a percentage of the general fund budget every year, but currently that funds are only used for the acquisition and the administration of that acquisition and not maintenance. So this charter amendment, Mr. TenBruggencate?
Yeah, so this was brought to us by the commission, and the situation as it was described to us is that occasionally the commission could acquire public lands for public use, and the county might not have the funds to maintain those lands, but there might be a community group willing to step in to do the mowing and the weed clearing and picking up litter and so on. But the community group might not have any resources of its own. So what was brought to us is, let's set aside 5% of the funds that are held by the cost control. I'm sorry, the Public Access Commission, and let them use that money to help buy equipment for community groups that want to do the public work of taking care of public spaces. Again, it's a small amount. We've heard complaints that that kind of thing ought to be funded by the council and the administration, but in this situation, it seemed to us a rational use of this money, and it results in the same end, which is better access to better maintained public properties and access ways. So.
Yeah, and this is not new money. This is 5% of the existing funds in that account.
Yeah.
And typically what happens is the county will enter into a stewardship agreement with a nonprofit agency or an organization that they will be charged with the maintenance. Yeah. So this will offset the cost of the nonprofit, and that is the intent. The fourth one relating to surety bonds, and the ballot question will be, shall the charter be amended to allow the use of insurance policies for certain or all employees to protect the county against financial loss? This, I think, Mr. TenBruggencate, is the one I get the most questions about. Yeah. So I'm glad you're here, because I'm here to learn as well.
Okay. Well, I was actually, we proposed this on an earlier election ballot, and it was rejected by the voters. And I think it was because there are so many questions about this issue. The language of the earlier ballot item was not that clear. Mm-hmm. In this situation, so there are certain public employees in the county who handle money. And under the charter, the county is required to be protected by having surety bonds associated with those employees. Surety bond ensures that if there's a loss, the county gets paid back. Our insurance agents are telling us that surety bonds are very difficult to get these days. But we can get exactly the same sort of coverage, or effectively the same kind of coverage using insurance policies. What we're doing here is saying that the county insurance experts get to choose. As long as we cover those employees, we can use insurance policies or surety bonds. So the county, the earlier language may have left people with the impression that the county wouldn't be covered. The intent is to cover all county employees who handle funds, and with an insurance policy, we might actually be able to cover all county employees, period, for less money than having to go out and buy surety bonds. So this is an item that will save county taxpayers money and allow a little more flexibility while providing the same kind of coverage that was envisioned when the charter was initially written back in 1969.
Yeah, the whole insurance industry has changed tremendously since the charter language was originally written. So now with the diverse types of insurance policies, the surety bonds now has options for the county. So the flexibility, I believe, is the key here in this one.
Yeah, and this is, again, this is an item that the Charter Review Commission, normally when the voters turn something down and it's clear that the voters' opinion is we don't want this, we wouldn't bring it back up. In this situation, we heard from a lot of folks who said they didn't understand the question. And so we tried to clear up the language and really make the point that this does not reduce coverage. It provides coverage, provides the same or even better coverage at a lower price. It seems like a slam dunk to us, and we recommend approval.
And again, it gives the flexibility of in certain circumstances, in certain years, maybe a surety bond is a better choice, but in years that the insurance policy may be so.
Exactly.
There is a fifth one, Mr. TenBruggencate. I'm going to ask you to read that question because my printer failed to print question number 5.
So this is, I'll read the language. This is an amendment. It's an interesting one. This item involves placing high school juniors and seniors on county boards and commissions in non-voting positions. The ballot question reads, shall the charter be amended to establish ex officio positions for youth on boards and commissions to be filled by Kauai resident high school juniors and seniors? This amendment would allow a Kauai student to learn government and civics through participating as an ex officio member of boards and commissions. So this came to us when a student at the Kauai County Charter School, La'akea Chun, came to the commission as a school project and said, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea if a high school kid could learn civics, could learn about government by serving on a county board or a commission. She was initially looking at just the open space board. We looked at the proposal and thought, boy, what a great learning experience. These kids would be able to sit in county meetings, participate in the discussions. They would not be able to vote. They also would not be participating in executive sessions that might involve personnel or sensitive issues. But they'd be able to participate fully in the discussions in government boards and commissions. The Charter Commission expanded her request and said, well, let's provide the opportunity, if we have enough kids who are interested, to place juniors and seniors, one on each county board and commission throughout the county. There are a dozen or more of those positions. My sense is that will provide us with future leaders. Those are the kinds of kids who, having understood the county and having understood public service, I could imagine would take jobs in county government and potentially could run for public office and serve this community into their adulthood. It just seemed like a good idea. La'akea Chun, interestingly, the council, Mel voted on this, I was there. Once she graduated and turned 18 and was an adult, was placed as a regular member on the Charter Commission. And she served there until she had to go off to college.
That was an impressive young person. I never, in all my years on the council, I had never approved a commissioner that was under the age of 18. Yeah. And she was just impressive. Yeah. And there's so many of these students out there that want to get interested, want to get involved, want to be engaged. And this will give them an opportunity. Again, ex officio members, so they won't have any voting rights, but they will be active members that can participate. And, just as a personal note, being on the council, oftentimes we are talking to the new generation, the young generation, on issues that will impact them. Yeah, our decisions that we make today will impact them. So very innovative recommendation, and I applaud the commission for putting this forward for the voters.
Yeah, and as with any commissioner, the student members I'm presuming teachers or counselors would be recommending the individuals to the administration. The administration would make a nomination, and the county council would actually vote to seat the youth members on the commissions. And it might be that some commissions don't get youth members, depends on how many there are. We don't have to fill those positions, but the capability is there for those young people who are interested in that kind of community service.
Thank you. There you have it. 5 proposed charter amendments. I cannot impress enough on you that it is important that you vote on these amendments because a blank vote basically counts as a no vote. So please take the time to get to know these amendments, and I hope this helped you today, Jan. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'll just throw another thing out. A little background on charter amendments. The county charter was established in 1969. The first council came in under the charter. Before that, we had a board of supervisors system. And then we developed a mayor-council system. The charter has been amended frequently over time. The charter can be amended by the county charter review commissions putting an item on the ballot, by the county council putting an item on the ballot, or by citizens raising enough signatures on petitions to put items on the ballot. So there are 3 vehicles to do it. This year, the only items are the 5 from the Charter Review Commission, but in any given year there might be charter amendments, and have been over time from any of those 3 vehicles. Thanks,
We
Mel.
have so much faith in the Charter Review Commission that we let you folks do it this year. Again, I want to thank Kauai for giving us the opportunity to share this with you. If you have any questions, please, you can visit www.kauai.gov, click on the Charter Review Commission tab, and or just give us a call at the County Council Services Office, and we will help you out as best we can. Again, Jan, thank you so much.
Thanks, and on behalf of our chair, Cody Trujillo, I want to thank you, Mel, and Kauai. Thanks a lot.
Alrighty, you guys have a wonderful day. Aloha. Take care.